What's up, guys? It's Mitch here from the DIYRecordingStudio.com, and today we're going to be looking at the latest offering from UAD, and we've talked about them recently on this channel, and what they've come out with is the ability to use their plugins for the first time without using any of their interfaces. And if you don't know about this, it's quite a big deal for this particular company because they've never offered this before. So if you don't own any of their interfaces, you can actually start using their plugins. They've released a few of them online, and it is in a subscription bundle, which I'm not the fondest fan of. We'll leave that to another video. But it's still giving people who haven't had the option to use those plugins previously now that chance to actually dive in and see what the UAD plugins are all about. Because in our industry, they're supposed to be the creme de la creme, one of the best manufacturers or one of the best designers of these plugins. And they are a manufacturer as well. They make that hardware. So things like the 1176 and the LA2A, they own those actual hardware products. And so you would hope that the software emulations that they are making of that hardware are the best. So what we're going to do today is have a look at their offering in the native UAD Spark bundle. And in that, they haven't released all of their plugins, but there are some interesting pieces that they've put up there, and definitely enough to start with, especially if you're going to buy plugins for mixing. It's definitely a good starting point, a really solid one at that. So regardless of the plugins at play that they've given you, what we really want to know is, are they any good? So let's dive in and do a mix. I've got a session prepared, and we'll do a mix across drums and bass and guitars and vocals and see if these plugins stack up to their, other plugin counterparts. And then also later in another video, we might have a look at whether they actually stack up to their hardware counterparts as well, like they claim. So that'll be an interesting video, maybe in a couple of weeks. Anyway, let's dive in to the session that I've got prepared. And yes, I'm using Cubase. So for those of you that aren't familiar with this channel, I use Cubase as my DAW of choice. And it's not that I'm against any DAW in particular. It's just that I find that Cubase suits my needs the best. Cool, and this is the track that we're going to be working on today. It's a song that you can find available on the Telefunken live at the lab sessions. I'll put a link down below. They do a whole bunch of live recordings with all of their microphones that they have, and some that none of us will ever afford. So it's a really cool thing to download and have a listen to and hear what these mics sound like, and actually mix and sort of use these as a way to test your mixing abilities if you're a student or someone studying audio or stepping into mixing for the first time, because it's really hard to get this kind of caliber of, or get access to this caliber of audio engineering and quality of microphones and preamps that they use. So it's a really good starting point if you're going to mix. And what I love about them is that they're still raw. So it's not like some polished, fully mixed, already compressed stem. It's just their microphone into a preamp. So you're not getting any kind of compression or anything like that. That's left to you to do if you want to do that. So really, really cool stuff. So go check that out. Anyway, let's dive in and have a listen.
And I need to hold you, warm you in my arms and melt your fears away. Show you all the magic that a perfect love can make. I need your night and day, so baby be mine. And boy, I'll give you all I got to give.
And all I've done here is create I've organized all my stems, and I've just created a basic fader mix and panned the various tracks and just got a balance, and then left enough headroom over here over here on the master beta, so that when I start processing, I'm going to have enough headroom remaining on my master bus and stuff like that. So just always an important thing to keep in mind. So let's dive into some stuff, and what I'm going to do today is a bit of a top-down method. I really like to start with my vocals first nowadays, so let's get into that, and then we'll balance our mix, starting with the vocals. So let's open this up.
Baby, be mine now.
I'm just in soloing these
You're
vocals.
everything this world could be. The reason.
We can hear that the vocals are recorded in the room with the band. We can hear all that spill and all that low end from like the kick drum and stuff. Have a listen.
I believe in love. Hey, all right. Woo.
And that's all good. We can work with that. Not a problem. And the plugin I'm going to go to first is an EQ. I have this Neve, UAD Neve plugin. So it's supposed to model a Neve 1073. And the things that I would expect from this plugin in particular is that the high pass filter will be really useful, but kind of aggressive once it goes from 160 to 300. Usually that step is quite large, but that's fine. It's a great filter. There should be a really nice low end in this low end shelf that we can utilize. A nice kind of wide kind of mid-band EQ. And then this 12 kilohertz shelf that can be really great for adding air and that shimmer to different sound sources. And then if those of you that know the work that I've done on this channel, you know that I've built a bunch of Neve preamps from Sound Sculptor, and I am very familiar with these preamps and the EQs nowadays, and I know what their characteristics are, and what I'm really looking for is whether I drive this line amp over here and drive the signal through, and whether it gives me some saturation, because that's a very special part of the Neve design. So let's put that back at 0 and let's start working on this vocal.
I don't need a reason.
Cool, so we can drive that harder, and then the output trim dial on a Neve preamp is down here.
To change your mind. You are.
And that's, if you wanted some saturation from a Neve, that's something that you would do, is drive the preamp input stage and then turn down the output stage. And you can do this on lots of preamps, but that's something we can look at later on.
All the future that I desire, and I need to hold you, share my feelings in the heat of love's embrace.
Now it's definitely adding some saturation and some, you can hear some bottom end being added in, so that's a good sign of like saturation and harmonics and that. I don't know if it's getting the kind of compression you get from the real Neve, but it's definitely doing stuff, so we'll continue on.
Show
Let's clean up that low end.
you all the passion burning in my heart.
And then, so this is the high pass filter on the Neve, and have a listen once we get to 160 and then 300.
Today, nothing's gonna fade, so baby be mine, yeah. And boy, I'll give you all I got to give.
Instant kind of like radio voice, where 300 is a little bit too high for most sources. So let's go to 160 and put it there.
Give, well, baby be mine now.
And I'm going to taper off a little bit there.
You're everything this world could be. The reason I believe in love. Won't you stay with me until the morning sun fades? So baby be mine, yeah.
Cool. And when I'm cutting frequencies, I'll like to solo to hear what I'm cutting, but when I'm going to boost frequencies, I often rather actually put it in the mix so I can hear what I'm boosting and hear how it's working in the mix. So let's do that.
And boy, I'll give you all I got to give. Well, baby, be mine now. You're what could be the reason I believe in love. Won't you stay with me until the morning sun fades? So baby, be mine, yeah. And boy, I'll give you all I got to give. Well, baby, be mine now. You're everything this world could be, the reason I believe in love. Won't you stay with me until the morning sun fades? So baby, be mine, yeah.
Cool. This high shelf sounds pretty nice. It's definitely got that nice Neve silkiness to it. Still sounds a bit aggressive to my ears, but less aggressive than other plug-in versions of the Neve 1073. And I've boosted a bit of presence around 7K as well to get some more out of the vocal there, because they've used like a dynamic mic or something on this, and you know, it just needs a bit more top end there, I think. So cool.
And boy, I'll give you all I got to give. Well, baby, be mine now.
Sounds good. Cool. Now we've got to control some of those dynamics, so let's get into one of my favorite compressors, especially for vocals, is the 1176. Now they've got a couple of, well, 3 different versions of the 1176 they have. And it'll take a second. The famous blue, bluey, or the blue strip compressor there. What else do they have? They have the AE. I think that's is that the silver face? Oh no, it's the, yeah, cool. There's the AE. And then the one that most people know is the Rev-E, the black face. Okay, this one here. So most people I know would go for the black or the blue face. So I'll get rid of the AE for now, because honestly that's a compressor that I'm not even familiar with. I haven't used it, so I like to use tools that I know a little bit about at least, so I've got a good starting point. So let's listen to what this vocal sounds like with the blue face.
You're everything this world could be, the reason I believe in love. Won't you stay with me until the morning sun fades? So baby, be mine, yeah. And boy, I'll give you all I got to give. Well, baby, be mine now. You're everything this world could be, the reason I believe in love. Won't you stay with me until the morning sun fades? So baby, be mine, yeah.
Whoa. Not gonna lie, that sounds pretty good. Usually when I've used 1176 emulation plugins, they are not as transparent as this or the real thing. This is very cool. It's definitely got that fast attack that you'd expect from 1176, but I'm really pushing the gain reduction. Check out the amount of gain reduction I'm getting on the VU meter here, and still it sounds pretty damn good. And I noticed that it also had an attack and release setting that I would probably be pretty close to be using on a vocal, so that's a bit of a clue there that this is one of the go-to compressors of choice for vocals a lot of the time. So let's have a look at that.
Well, baby, be mine now. You're everything this world could be.
Now we're hitting like 10 dB or so of compression there, and it still sounds all right. And not all plugins can do that. So, and not all versions of the 1176 can do that. So this is kind of cool. I'm digging this at the moment, because a lot of the 1176 plugins I've used before, you can really hear them compressing. I'm digging this. Very cool. Let's just do some bypassing and make sure that we're not just turning stuff up too loud as well.
The reason I believe in love. Won't you stay with me until the morning sun fades? So baby, be mine, yeah. And boy, I'll give you all I got to give.
Damn, like that's hitting like 10-15 dB of compression there, and it's still not sounding too over compressed. Like, it's pretty compressed, but it sounds good. Cool. Let's bypass that one for now, and let's go to the original, well, not the original, the blackface, and see what that sounds like.
Well, baby, be mine now. You're everything this world could be. The reason I believe in love. Won't you stay with me until the morning sun fades? So, baby, be mine, yeah. And boy, I'll give you all I got to give. Well, baby, be mine now. You're everything this world could be. The reason I believe in love.
Damn. Man, I've got to give it to UAD on this one. This is pretty good. I have used the 1176 a lot. I've used different plugins like from other manufacturers that we may all know, and you definitely can't push those plugins this hard and get that kind of transparency. This sounds really damn good. Really digging this. Also, I like that on these plugins, we'll see with the others, they're not trying to just add gain as you add the plugin. The input is set at a decent volume with these, so that's cool. Definitely digging that as just like a starting point. We haven't even dug into like the ratios too much or the attack and release, but just as a really good leveling amplifier, that's sounding pretty damn good. I'm actually impressed by that. I have to give that to them. So very cool. Let's just flick through the 1176 blue and black and see which one works best on this vocal. I'm just gonna pull that vocal down a bit. Here we go.
Won't you stay with me until the morning sun fades? So, baby, be mine, yeah. And boy, I'll give you all I got to give. Well, baby, be mine now. You're everything this world could be. The reason I believe in love. Won't you stay with me until the morning sun fades? So, baby, be mine, yeah. And boy, I'll give you all I got to give. Well, baby, be mine now.
Cool, very interesting. So what I'm hearing in the differences between these two is that the black 1176 has more bottom end, more plosives as well. So I'm getting more plosives out of the vocal, whereas the blue is kind of a bit brighter, but also not having that issue with this vocal. And this vocal, because it's like a close mic and it's probably some kind of dynamic or some kind of cardioid condenser that's really close to the singer, it's like suffering from some plosives and stuff like that. So the blue is doing a really good job there. So I might stick with the blue on this one for now, and with this kind of top-down mixing, I can always come back and adjust these things later because we're in plugin land and that's cool anyway. So I'll leave that for now. I hope you've enjoyed this video so far. The UAD plugins are pretty cool. There's some cool stuff going on here. If you like what you see in this video and you want to help out the channel, please hit like and subscribe down below. I'm Mitch from the DIYRecordingstudio.com. I'll catch you soon.